Oh. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Richa Bansal, and I'm founder at Sarathi. I have the privilege today of welcoming Arjun Vishwanathan, who is also a co-founder at Sarathi, and his specific and special ability is in the space of technology and digital transformation. In the last few workshops that we've conducted towards the end, we have always received feedback that is there something we can do around generative AI? And I think most of the time, the reason why we have inquisitiveness around it is that we've heard the word generative AI, we know the term artificial intelligence, but beyond that, we don't really have anything else that we know about. And that's exactly why we thought that is there something that we can do which can bring some level of awareness, understanding, and a certain level of comfort around the term. So please feel free to engage, ask questions, and understand there is no one better that we have than Arjun here. Thank you so much, Arjun, for taking this session with us. And over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Hi, everybody. My name is Arjun Vishwanathan, like Rich has already mentioned. Quick, brief introduction about me. I am, in a sense, a consultant. I'm a tech and a technology consultant and an advisor to various organizations. My job is to help organizations understand how technology can come in at critical or strategic spaces to help them achieve what the organization wants to do. So I work classically with lots of organizations in that sphere. And as they say, because you are a tech consultant, you're also permanently a student because the study never stops. The exploration of and understanding of technology never stops. तो उस हिसाब से मैं student भी हूँ, and I continue to be a very keen industry analyst and a tech observer. When Richa mentioned to me that a lot of you folks were very keen on understanding what generative AI was, I found that very fascinating because really so little is known about generative AI today that it just seemed to me very logical that all of you would want to know about what Gen AI is, what it can do, what it is doing, kal kya kar sakta hai, kya nahi kar sakta, and so on and so forth. And before I jump into it, because I'm going to be talking and perhaps showing you a few things over the next 40, 45 odd minutes, and then we'll throw it up for questions. So a couple of ground rules. Please keep your phones switched off or on silent or on airplane mode. Remain muted unless, of course, you want to raise a hand and ask me a question midway. Classically and preferably, it'll be nice if you let me complete what I'm saying before you ask me a question. That way, at least the chain of thought isn't broken. And the last and the most important ground rule is the fact that there's nothing called a silly question. In no sphere of life is there anything called a silly question. So please feel free to ask me as basic or as deep and evolved a question that you may want to ask me.
Arjun, there is a request for you to also slightly use English here.
Balram, कोशिश मैं करूंगा, but in many ways, unfortunately, हो क्या गया है कि मैं सोचता भी इंग्लिश में हूँ. So उसको अब इंग्लिश में सोच के उसको हिंदी में मैं ट्रांसलेट करता रहा तो हम परसों तक यही बैठे रहेंगे. तो वो I will try my best, but मैं ये भी बता दूं कि see, when I'm talking to you कि AI क्या है, what the technology is, I'll have to do that in English because I don't know how to explain neural networks in Hindi.
Okay, no problem, sir. No problem.
All right, thank you. Now, folks, before we jump into generative AI, मैं ये भी जानना चाहता हूँ, how many of you understand what AI is in the first place? Yeah, sure. Whoever, Kaushik, if you want to answer. Anybody, what is artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence,
Huh?
uh,
So can I try?
Yeah, please.
So means artificial intelligence means we can
It's like human intelligence.
Okay. It's like human intelligence. All right.
yes sir. It's
Or
like
koi?
human intelligence.
It is?
And
Uh,
fully human replacement.
It is a intelligence fed by the person to the computer based on the facts and activities.
Good. Let me let me try and explain to you what artificial intelligence is. In essence, AI, or artificial intelligence as it's called, is nothing but it is software. It is software that has been taught certain aspects of how to think like human beings to be able to perform tasks and do a few activities. Now, why was AI created? AI को create इसलिए किया गया ताकि humans की जिंदगी को थोड़ा simpler किया जाए. Which is why today the phones and the smartphones that all of us use, they're all intelligence enabled, which is why they are able to predict, conserve battery. How many of you know that pretty much all the smartphones that you have a battery conserver where AI is embedded in it for the simple reason that it allows you therefore to conserve and optimize the battery use based on which are the apps that you use the most. Take something as simple as Alexa. How many of you have used Alexa or heard about Alexa or experienced Alexa? A lot of us would have, correct? Balram, आपने Alexa use किया?
नहीं यूज नहीं किया सुना एक्चुअली.
सुना है ना? Alexa करता क्या है? तो हम मोस्टली ये सोचते हैं कि Alexa जो है हमारे सवाल का
कंट्रोलर है
जवाब
एक्चुअली.
देगा. Yeah. So now Alexa is so Alexa वैसे तो हम उस डब्बे को समझते हैं.
हाँ.
Alexa उस डब्बे का नाम नहीं है. Alexa उसके अंदर बैठा हुआ सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोग्राम है
ओके.
जो आप which is humans के साथ इंटरैक्ट करते 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 it starts understanding what we want and what we do in a consistent manner. So हम लोग मोस्टली Alexa को क्यों यूज करते हैं? गाने सुनने के लिए. एटलीस्ट हमारे घर में तो हम Alexa किशोर कुमार के गाने चला दो या मोहम्मद रफी या अरिजीत सिंह यही बोलते हैं. But very few people know that Alexa is extremely intelligent because Alexa is constantly hearing what you guys are saying, even when you're not talking to it. It's constantly hearing क्या क्या समझ रहा है, समझ रहा है या समझ रही है. हाँ, Alexa लड़की है, सॉरी, समझ रही है. आपका accent, आपका language, it is understanding what your likes and your preferences are. It understands the kind of questions and the segment or the structure in which you're asking questions. Like we've got an 8-year-old daughter, and mostly my daughter's questions to Alexa are, is country ka capital kya hai? Now, through a process of constantly learning, ये सॉफ्टवेयर जो है ये उस हद तक हमको समझने लगता है that it is able to help predict the next few activities that we will want to do. So for example, अगर आप शाम को बैठे हो और 1-1.5 घंटे से आप सिर्फ अरिजीत सिंह के गाने सुन रहे हो, मान लो 25-30 गाने सुन लिए आपने, तो एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वो 25-30 गाने खत्म हो जाएंगे, करेक्ट? नाउ एलेक्सा क्या करता है इमीडिएटली? वो आपसे बोलता है आई हैव फिनिश्ड ऑल द सॉन्ग्स ऑफ अरिजीत सिंह जो आपने मुझे बोला था सुनाने को, लेकिन इसी तरीके के और भी गाने हैं, क्या मैं वो प्ले करूं आपके लिए? Which in a sense means that Alexa has understood what kind of songs I like to listen to and therefore will not play me Govinda songs. क्योंकि मैंने गोविंदा के गाने तो मांगे नहीं, ना मैंने मिथुन चक्रवर्ती के गाने मांगे, मैंने अरिजीत सिंह के गाने मांगे थे ना। अरिजीत सिंह जैसे और कौन सिंगर्स हैं, बहुत सारे हैं, सूफी गाने या स्लो वैसे वाले गाने वाले ना। फंडामेंटली व्हेन यू बॉइल इट बैक, व्हाट इज artificial intelligence doing inside Alexa? It is doing two things, and this is the most important thing for all of you to understand before I jump into generative AI. You have to understand. Artificial intelligence के दो fundamental pillars होते हैं. The first is machine learning. मशीन लर्निंग आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का वो सबसेट है जिसमें वो जो सॉफ्टवेयर या एल्गोरिदम्स बोलते हैं, दे आर डिजाइन्ड इन द सॉफ्टवेयर कोड टू लर्न फ्रॉम डेटा. Think of it as giving your computers the ability to learn and improve without necessarily going and typing in the code each time. So machine learning is the first important pillar of what AI stands for, which is where algorithms are trained and designed to learn from data. And let's face it, everything that we are doing on our mobile phones today, or on our laptops today, or on our computers today, my conversation with each of you today on this is all data when it goes down inside the computer. हमारे लिए ये वीडियो है, एक इमेज है, एक कुछ और है, लेकिन फंडामेंटली एक कंप्यूटर के लिए ये सब डेटा है. So machine learning is helping the software learn from data. So that's pillar number one. And pillar number two is what is even more important. It's called deep learning. Deep learning, okay, now I'll try to make this simple, but I'll first give you the definition of deep learning. Deep learning is a type of machine learning, guys, inspired by the structure and function of the human brain, which is called neural networks. So deep learning is particularly effective for those kinds of activities जहां पे आप image and speech का use बहुत करते हैं. Now, to explain what neural network is, let me just where did that go? Where is the document? So now all of you have understood कि deep learning वैसा वो सॉफ्टवेयर होता है जिसे डिजाइन इसलिए ऐसे किया जाता है जैसे हमारा दिमाग होता है, which is the structure and the function of the human brain. Now, neural networks are essentially nodes which are designed to understand and recognize things like pattern. कि अर्जुन कंप्यूटर पे या अपने फोन पे या कंप्यूटर पे मोस्टली क्या करता रहता है, कितने वर्ड्स पर मिनट टाइप करता है, कितने वीडियोस देखता है, कौन से एप्स पे ज्यादा काम करता है. So that's very important. The second that they do along with machine learning is they learn from data. And the third most important thing that they do is they use their understanding of patterns and the understanding of data to be able to predict next actions. Now, when you put all of this together, that is what the software or the technology called artificial intelligence is. Now, I'm going to take a pause here to see if any of you have any questions. Because I realize that मैं बोलता रह सकता हूं, but at some point of time I need to understand whether you folks are recognizing what I'm saying. So any questions, somebody please put up their hands. I'd be happy to take any. The second pillar of AI is what is called deep learning. Australia. So deep learning, like I said, is in a sense the design of a particular type of software or machine which is inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. And it is very effective when it, just for example, Now Balram का face, because सबसे पहले बलराम ही दिख रहे हैं मुझे alphabetical order में. बलराम का face मैं immediately अब recognize करके बोलूंगा this is Balram because I know. Now that's because that's how my mind functions. So the second pillar of AI is in a sense deep learning, which is very effective in speech and image recognition. So Vishwas Shah says, what is data science then? Data science is in a sense a study of what data when, so okay, this is data. And data science is therefore the study,
Guys, please mute yourself, people who are not interacting directly.
Thank you. Thanks, Richa. So data science is the stream of study which teaches us how to use scientific methods, algorithms, processes, systems to extract insights from data. See, suppose I give you 1, 3, 5, 8. Okay. Suppose I give you these numbers 0, 1, 1, 2. Where is it? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Can any of you tell me what that means? I'll type it. And tell me what it means. This is one of my favorite examples, Kangya. Chat kahan hota hai? Do I put this up on chat?
It is a Fibonacci series.
Exactly. Now, and what is the Fibonacci series? The Fibonacci series is that every subsequent number is the addition.
I'm sorry, I'm the sign language interpreter here. I would just
All right.
request co-host access so that I can also mute some people who are not talking.
That'll be lovely. Richa, can you please kindly do that?
Yeah, that will help me also focus on what you're saying.
That's also true.
Just done that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Chief
And
Saurabh.
the co-host can also mute mics which are not
Oh.
actually.
Yeah.
So now you have the ability to play God. Please go ahead. All right. So the Fibonacci series, वैसे अगर कोई देखेगा, so it's just random numbers. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. But when you look at it, why it's called the Fibonacci series is that every next number is the sum of the previous two numbers. Which is why you see 0, 1, 1. 0 and 1 is 1. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 and 5 is 8. 8 and 13 is 21, and so on and so forth. And the Fibonacci series is infinite. Now, data science is quite similar to that. Data science, in a sense, is the study of how do you collect data, how do you clean data, how do you explore data analytics. So, for example, आप लोगों में से बहुतों ने Python सुना होगा. In our time, Excel होता था या Microsoft Access हुआ करता था वो large data sets के लिए. Excel करता क्या है? Excel helps us understand what that table is saying. That, in a very brief, simplistic manner, is what data science is. Anyway, so if that is all right with each of you, I'm going to come to this whole concept of generative AI, because I see it's already 6:20 and I should come. Anybody, before I jump into this, anybody want to take a shot at what is generative AI? किसी को, you can type it. If somebody wants to, कोई बोलना चाहता है तो बोल भी सकता है.
I mean, sir, created AI हो सकता है क्या? जो अभी जो create यानी कि अब जिसको हम इजीली क्रिएट कर दे, यानी कि अपडेट लेटेस्ट जो होता है हो सकता है शायद मेरे.
Okay, that's a fair shot. Easy तो वैसे भी कुछ भी नहीं है. But let me give you what my understanding and how जितना मैं simple बना सकता हूँ. See, generative AI typically refers to a type of artificial intelligence system that creates new content such as image, text, audio, video, based on the patterns and data that it has been trained on. Now, I don't even need to ask how many of you have, because I know everybody has used ChatGPT. 100%?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
120%. जहां जरूरत भी नहीं होगी वहां भी यूज कर लिया होगा. चलो डाल के देखते हैं.
Yes.
What is ChatGPT? Yes.
ChatGPT allows anything, any doubt.
No. See, that's very interesting, and I'm very, very happy that you brought it up. No, okay. ChatGPT is a software that has been trained to understand.
Today's no new Wikipedia.
ChatGPT is a software that has been trained and created and designed to understand two things. What is the question? And second, what is the context of the question? And that's very, very important for all of you to know. So ChatGPT is a form of generative AI that studies patterns and keeps learning within itself to finally create new content and audio and text and videos. And
Yes,
of
sir.
course,
Fix content में आंसर देता है ChatGPT. और हम लाइक जैसे गूगल में सर्च करते हैं तो बहुत सारे जवाब आते हैं और ChatGPT में फिक्स उसका सॉल्यूशन आता है.
so
So
ChatGPT
फिक्स आंसर
understands
आता
two things, like I said.
है.
It
Yes.
understands the question, which is in English, and it understands the context. And by virtue of constantly teaching itself to learn, it is able to generate newer content for us. Now, I will and do this after you we finish this webinar. Each of you can go to ChatGPT and write and ask it, what is ChatGPT? I will kid you not, for each of you, it will give you a different answer. Yeah, correct. I've heard, yeah, what does that mean? Okay. We'll come to that. That is only the acronym or the full form of the acronym. ChatGPT is in a sense a form of generative AI that helps us create new content. So I can put in dog, Labrador, garden, ball, and say, can you write me a 100-word essay on this? It'll do that because it is understanding your question in the concept or context of dog, ball, garden, Labrador, and it will create. So what has it done? It has picked up these very individual words and put them into context. जैसे अगर मैं आप लोगों को बोलूं मोबाइल फोन, OnePlus, blue, expensive, you will immediately put all of them together to say, हाँ OnePlus का ब्लू कलर का नया फोन जो आया है वो 55,000 का है तो थोड़ा एक्सपेंसिव है. लॉजिकली यही करेंगे ना हम. Now put these words in ChatGPT after the. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Yeah. But yeah, we'll hold on to that. Now. Okay. So now what is the difference between artificial intelligence and generative artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is traditional in nature and is based on predefined rules. कि यहां आएंगे तो लेफ्ट जाना है, लेफ्ट लेके राइट जाना है, राइट जाके रुक जाना है. That is traditional AI के softwares. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल द होल कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ चैटबॉट्स. चैटबॉट्स हम सब ने शायद यूज करी होंगी. Now, chatbots have a predefined set of answers. Now, you go to a Zomato chatbot or any other chatbot, उसमें defined है कि भाई maximum Mohammed Tahil, I don't know how Google Maps. No, Google Maps is more geospatial and geographical node based. So, for example, Google may not be the best case of artificial intelligence or Gen AI for the simple reason that वहां पे आपकी जान खतरे में हो सकती है अगर वो बोले कि अच्छा जा तो वैसे नदी के थ्रू भी सकते हैं, बट आपको गाड़ी लेके नदी के थ्रू से नहीं जाने देगा ना वो, मतलब आप खुद नहीं जाओगे. So that is the scary part. So no, not Google Maps, but I completely forgot where I was. So traditional AI, like for example, chatbots. Chatbots में Zomato को पता है कि maximum boss क्या questions आ सकते हैं, ऐसे 50 क्वेश्चन होंगे, और इन 50 क्वेश्चंस के ये 50 आंसर्स है. वो भी इंटेलिजेंट, क्योंकि उसको ये भी समझ में आना चाहिए कि आपने वो क्वेश्चन किस तरीके से पूछा है. कोई इंग्लिश में लिखता है, कोई इंग्लिश में लिखेगा. Now, traditional AI will understand that and give you a predefined answer. Generative AI, on the other hand, if you say, I ordered butter chicken, it wasn't good. Generative AI, because it is constantly learning from itself and processing the data within itself, may be prompted to ask you, what did you not like in the butter chicken? आपका चैटबॉट ये फिलहाल नहीं पूछता कि आपको बटर चिकन में पसंद क्या नहीं आया. तो क्लासिकली आप क्या बोलोगे, नमक कम था, या चिकन अच्छा नहीं था, या स्पाइसी बहुत था, या ऑयली बहुत था. कुछ भी बोल सकते हो. सो लेट्स से वी से इट वाज वेरी ऑयली. Generative AI may be prompted to ask you, typically, what are the levels of oil that you consume? I don't know, but I'm just thinking aloud. So that is the power of generative AI. It therefore starts thinking, or it is designed and created to think like how the human mind will think. For example, अगर मेरी वाइफ ने चाय बनाई है और मुझे पसंद नहीं आए, अब मैं लंबा चौड़ा आंसर तो बताऊंगा तो नहीं. आई जैसे चाय में मजा नहीं आया. नाउ मतलब इमीडिएट क्वेश्चन माय वाइफ लास्ट मी इज, क्या ठीक नहीं था? तो आई से फीका था, या चीनी कम था, या अदरक नहीं था. तो इमीडिएटली मेरी वाइफ क्या जवाब दे सकती है कि नहीं, अदरक तो डाला था, शायद कम डाला होगा. Now, imagine a software starting to think and operate like that, where it is able to understand in a much more refined manner how the human mind functions. That, ladies and gentlemen, is generative AI. Now, the examples I gave you are classically, obviously, only text. But imagine if, okay, and this is where Richa, Saurabh, with your permission, can I share a certain screen? Right. I know, folks, some of you may be visually impaired and visually may not be able to see this. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to show you a quick video of what generative AI can do. कि generative AI, अभी तो हमने text की तो बात कर ही ली, but generative AI video and images में क्या कर सकता है? I'll just share this. Give me a second. Is my screen visible to everybody?
Sir,
Saurabh?
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Now, सब जो लोग देख पा रहे हैं, and I'm sorry to the rest of the others, I'm deeply apologetic. ये जो ऊपर चिड़िया का फोटो है,
Sorry, Arjun, you can give a visual description of what is seen for
yeah,
people
that's
who are
what I'm
blind.
saying. Okay, that sounds great. Now, what you see on the top is just an image that has been clicked by a good, decent photographer. Fair? Now, what can generative AI softwares do with this static image? It is allowing you to show the bird moving. That's a static car in a... Now you can suddenly show the car moving. Leaves. Now, does anybody have any questions here? Before, anyway, there may be, of course, for sure. But see, the whole concept of what generative AI has done here is, it has taken leaves which are, जो पत्ते हैं वो बारिश में static हैं, वो फोटो है जो किसी अच्छे कैमरा ने खींचा है. Generative AI is able to contextualize it, saying अगर बारिश है तो शायद हल्की सी हवा भी होगी. Typically पत्ते ऐसे standard तो खड़े नहीं रहते, थोड़ा बहुत हिलते हैं. Now it is able to put all of that together in its software layer and create an impression with a video that shows them moving on the tree. Now, similarly, this is one of the most, this is one of the first and the most famous image that was created by a generative AI application. This is almost now about 14 months old. This, folks, is so somebody asked a certain generative AI application to create a photo of how Jesus, the Lord Jesus Christ, could have clicked a photo or a selfie during the Last Supper. Now, all of us have heard about that very famous Da Vinci painting, which is the Last Supper. Now, selfies, everybody understands. Now, this is Lord Jesus Christ. And generative AI has said, if, 2023, 2025 years back, had there been cameras and had the Lord clicked the selfie, that is how he would have clicked the selfie. Now, obviously, selfies weren't prevalent then because cameras and phones weren't. But this is the generative AI software or the application's ability to contextualize three things: the Lord Jesus Christ, the Last Supper, selfie. Now, because it already understands that in the Last Supper photograph, there was the Lord Jesus, and there were his disciples, the 12 of them, the apostles as they are called. And it said, agar ek party mein selfie koi khichega, to kaise khichega? Now, very importantly, it could have showed everybody wearing jeans, but it also understood that उस जमाने में जीन्स तो होती नहीं होंगी ना, टी-शर्ट्स होते होंगे, जैसे सचिन ने पहना है, ईगल्स पता नहीं क्या लिखा हुआ है उसमें, जो भी है. Now, that is the power of generative AI. Now, the first thing that you saw before this was video. This is image. I'll show you one more. So this is, of course, more recent. Somebody asked a certain generative AI application to suggest what these tech giants of the world, the tech leaders of the world, would represent in terms of animals or birds. Now, no logic to this. Elon Musk has been shown as an eagle. Steve Jobs, on your right, for those who are able to see, was described as a lion. Jeff Bezos of Amazon was shown as a tiger. Bill Gates of Microsoft was shown as an owl. You know who the fifth one is? The one who's been shown as a wolf or a fox? Anybody? I'll give it a second. Yeah, that's a very interesting one.
We have an answer, Sam Altman.
Absolutely. That's Sam Altman, the creator of OpenAI and ChatGPT as we all know it. तो इनको तो अलग लेवल पे प्रणाम करना पड़ेगा because he's made life so much more easier for us. And of course, the last is Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, who's been shown as a cat. Now, there is no logic to why Steve Jobs has been shown as a lion and Sam Altman as a wolf. Now, because generative AI in its mind, and I'm talking about generative AI जैसे कि वो कोई इंसान है, उसने अपने दिमाग में कुछ लॉजिक, कुछ पैटर्न्स, कुछ डेटा देख के ये डिसाइड किया है कि ये टाइगर होना चाहिए, ये लायन होना चाहिए, इसको वुल्फ होना चाहिए और इसको बिल्ली होना चाहिए. Now, I don't know what the context to any of this is, but in essence, this is an example कि generative AI जो है वो किस तरीके से सोचता है. I'll just stop sharing this so that we are back here. Now, we are at 6:35. I will, before I jump into any of your questions, where is generative AI most likely to be used? Because it's the next logical question, na? Generative AI कहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा use होता है? I'll tell you. Tomorrow, the ads that you are going to be seeing when you are on social media, आजकल तो static advertisements होती हैं. चाहे वो विराट कोहली मिंत्रा के लिए जूते बेच रहा है या रणबीर कपूर मिंत्रा के लिए जैकेट. Tomorrow, the ads that you will increasingly start seeing on social media or on your laptops or on your desktops or your phones and so on and so forth will start becoming personalized to each of you. Because the generative AI layer, the software, is understanding what you are browsing. And as it keeps understanding that, it will take a Mintra ka jacket wala ad and contextualize and personalize that for you. So suddenly, there may come a time when मेरे लिए जब मैं वो एड देखता हूं उसमें ब्लू एंड ब्राउन कलर का जैकेट दिखाए लेकिन शायद रवि कुमार who I can see on my screen perhaps likes green and yellow. It may actually change to show Ravi a green and yellow jacket and me a blue and red jacket because it understands through the data that Ravi likes these colors. Now, how does it understand that data? It understands that data because it has now started watching and observing Ravi Kumar go on Mintra and last 5 purchases में 2 चीजें yellow थी 2 चीजें green थी एक चीज blue रही होगी. Now what it does is it puts all of it together and says the ad that I want to show Ravi is blue is green and yellow. See, it's the same thing. Like if I know I know for a fact my wife loves yellow and my wife loves green. टिपिकली उनके लिए मैं जैकेट खरीदने जाऊं या उनको उनके बर्थडे के लिए गिफ्ट लूंगा तो मैं अब रेड तो लूंगा नहीं बिकॉज आई नो शी डजंट वेयर रेड टू ऑफ लॉजिकली शी वेयर्स येलो एंड ग्रीन और ब्लू आई विल देयरफॉर पिक इट अप इन दैट मैनर ओनली नो इफ आई नो फॉर एग्जांपल माय डॉटर इज 8 years old she likes everything in pink I will not buy her something in black. Generative AI tomorrow is going to be able to understand what your preferences are and therefore deliver personalized ads for you. Now, the other thing that it will certainly be used is in dynamic product videos. For example, a fashion brand, like I told you, that was one. So your social media content, very unique and engaging content can be created for social media alone. For example, let's take a brand, let's say Nike. The Nike could create a video using generative AI that highlights its products, its shoes, in a fun and creative way, such as using animation, which today is not. So when you see a photo of or a video of, let's say, somebody wearing a Nike shoe, you can see the shoe. Does the shoe do something today? The shoe to kuch nahi karta na. The shoe doesn't see or do anything today. Tomorrow, generative AI will be able to or could be able to position the shoe to you in such a manner that it appeals to you more. So that is one of the, and of course, the whole concept of how you engage with a video will be truly transformed by how in almost 360 degrees by how you are interacting with it. So those classically are the kinds of uses. And I think it's also important for me to say that the industry uses of generative AI today. See, the entire industry, which is marketing, which is manufacturing, banking, insurance, hospitals, you name e-commerce. I will come to, thanks, Tahir. I will come to deepfakes. We'll get there. Is using artificial intelligence, which is the standard thing. Generative AI today is being used in the marketing of things because of its ability to allow it to generate new content, either in text, like I said, or in audio, or in video, or in images. So that is where its application mostly is. Now, like Tahil was asking, iska matlab kya ho? कि generative AI से मैं अपना फोटो अपनी शक्ल सलमान खान की बॉडी पे लगा के I can send it to somebody who doesn't know Salman Khan. Fair? That is what is a deepfake. Deepfakes have become a very, very prevalent practice today, where we often read and hear very disturbing and worrying news ki is actress ka face किसी के बॉडी पे लगा के उन्होंने उसका वीडियो बना दिया। जैसे अभी रिसेंटली एक एक्ट्रेस हैं रश्मिका मंदना, उसका केस सामने आया था। सो नाउ that's something I've always, and in fact the entire world has said this, that there are very ethical considerations for the use of generative AI, because today generative AI and certain applications and certain softwares give me the power to do almost anything and put it out there. So deepfakes are not just confined to images or video. For example, deepfakes are also used in text. So, for example, there have been cases where, yeah, Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. There have been cases where communal harmony has been disturbed by creating content that is false. अभी रिसेंटली हरियाणा में कुछ हुआ था 3-4-5 महीने पहले, राइट्स हुए थे ना। राइट्स एक एक्स या वाई या जेड रीजन के लिए हुए थे। What was disturbing for the police and the cyber cell was the fact that after that on Facebook, there was a lot of deep fake content that was being put out there that aimed at creating and a fresh new controversy. That is again a deep fake scam to say, or it is to say, let's take Arjun. Arjun said this, and we see this a lot on Twitter. कि वो अभी जब क्रिकेट का वर्ल्ड कप हो रहा था तो somebody put out a tweet saying इस क्रिकेटर ने 2 साल पहले विराट कोहली के बारे में ये कहा था। बेचारे उस क्रिकेटर को फिर जिसके बारे में बोला गया था, then he had to come on Twitter and say ये गलत है, मैंने कभी नहीं बोला। So that is what it allows you to do. Then there are other things like privacy concerns. मान लो मैंने कुछ 5000 वर्ड का एक बढ़िया ऐसे लिखा है ऑन इकोनॉमी ऑफ इंडिया, एंड मैं आपके पास आता है वो। नाउ यू कैन पुट दैट ऑन एनी जनरेटिव एआई मशीन और एनी जनरेटिव एआई एप्लीकेशन एंड आस्क इट टू रीफ्रेज दैट, एंड सडनली देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस बिटवीन जो मैंने ओरिजिनली अपने दिमाग से सोच के लिखा था और जो उस एप्लीकेशन ने लिखा है। So there are a lot of privacy concerns that also start coming in, which is what leads to expected problems around IP, intellectual property, जिसे हम कहते हैं ownership and copyright. So, for example, like I also run a company called AVCA, which goes by the name of Arjun Vishwanathan Consulting and Advisory, and I've got a logo. Now, you could use that logo and turn it around differently, and you start using it. Now, I will go mad, perhaps trying to prove to the authorities that मैंने पहले बनाया था. So there is that particular aspect to generative AI. And of course, I've spoken to you about manipulation, malicious use, which is, trying to cause social disharmony, which is why the world over, governments, organizations, industry, individuals are all saying there's a very clear need for regulations and accountability frameworks to govern the responsible use of generative AI. So that is so see, and one of the reasons perhaps there isn't any clear regulation today is because हर दिन हम कुछ ना कुछ सीख ही रहे हैं जनरेटिव एआई के बारे में, क्योंकि रोज जेन एआई जो है वो एक एडिशनल लेयर अपने बारे में इंट्रोड्यूस करता है। नाउ इट इज लाइक सेइंग जिसके बारे में मुझे पूरा पता नहीं उसके बारे में मैं क्या रूल बनाऊं। Simple, right? Which is why the whole concept of a regulatory or an accountability and governance framework which carries oversight is continuing to be debated across the world. For example, the US Senate recently called in Sam Altman for a Senate hearing committee to ask him, boss, इसकी capability क्या है Gen AI की? And he said, मुझे भी नहीं पता, जब मैंने बनाया था मुझे भी नहीं पता ये परसों क्या करेगा और 3 हफ्ते बाद क्या करेगा। तो फिर द सेनेटर्स आस्क्ड हिम, तो फिर हम लोग बैठ के फ्रेमवर्क रेगुलेशन कैसे बनाए, रूल्स कैसे बनाए? And he said it'll have to continue evolving as long as Gen AI keeps evolving, which means that आज और कल के लिए शायद हम कुछ रूल्स फिलहाल बना पाए, बट 2 साल बाद क्या हो सकता है उसके रूल्स अभी हमें पता. So long story short, folks, time is 6:45 and I know we've got about 15 minutes to go. That was what I wanted to bring to you as introduction to what AI and generative AI is. I know there could be 1,000 questions, but please feel free to ask me impact on jobs. All right. So how do I put this? Okay. See, artificial intelligence was created to help technology work with humans to make human activities simpler and easier to execute. But we also saw that AI did displace some jobs. So, for example, in insurance, specifically in the insurance sector, the whole concept of robotic process automation, RPA जिसे बोलते हैं, उसने क्या किया? जहां मान लो एक इंश्योरेंस क्लेम को प्रोसेस करने में 4 लोगों की जरूरत पड़ती थी, वहां RPA, which is another form of artificial intelligence, उसने उस काम को 2 लोगों में समेट लिया, which meant that 2 people suddenly were not doing that job. So mostly AI, it has been noticed, and I'll come to Gen AI in about 2 minutes. Artificial intelligence by and large has been noticed to help in the automation of certain tasks that are repetitive. कि आपको मान लो हर टेबल पे जाके कुछ टाइप करना है, वो AI कर सकता है, which are rule based tasks or manual labor जिसे हम कहते हैं. Those are the kind of activities and jobs that will most likely, certainly, or I'm not mincing any words, will get displaced by artificial intelligence. But AI also leads to newer job opportunities, because what is it doing? It is working very closely with human beings and helping us augment our own capabilities. So till yesterday, say AI wasn't there. We were all doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H activities. Suddenly, AI has taken over A, B, C, D tasks. Now, what it is therefore helping us do is tomorrow, there are also going to be jobs that help us work with AI on training it better. So there are those kinds of job opportunities that are certainly going to come up. Generative AI. An interesting question, and I'm going to go out on a limb when I say this, is there are a lot of immediately जो फिलहाल इस आज क्या है 9th of December 2023 में बैठ के I'm able to see that a lot of people who work on creating content are going to be worried because suddenly there's this software or there is this algorithm or an application जो वही चिड़िया का फोटो जो है वो अपने आप बना देता है, मेरी ड्राइंग की जरूरत नहीं है, या 4 चीजों को लेके एक वीडियो बना देता है, या 10 वर्ड्स को लेके वो एक पूरा न्यूज आइटम लिख देता है. जैसे आई रीड एनडीटीवी न्यूज. For a lot of news, obviously, you're going to have somebody sit down and type because there's a perspective. But I see the content space particularly being slightly displaced or significantly displaced by the emergence of generative AI. How Python will be effective? Look, I don't know Python. I've just heard about it. I'm not a coder. So, Tahil, I don't know how you can use Python and AI. I'm sure that if you were to interfere it enough, with it enough, you can teach Gen AI also to do all kinds of silly things.
I think
आने
Arjun,
वाले
there was another question which we missed here.
हाँ.
How to write effective prompts and use generative AI better is
Oh,
something we perhaps, yeah.
okay. So let me answer that question. So let me take the example of ChatGPT, which is the most immediate use. So guys, मैं एक और चीज बता दूं. The number of generative AI tools and applications that are available today, आप अपने मोबाइल फोन के प्ले स्टोर या एप्पल जो भी बोलते हैं एप्पल स्टोर में जाके आप ढूंढ लें, आपको 50 लाख एप्लीकेशंस मिल जाएंगे. किसी में आप वीडियो के साथ कुछ कर सकते हैं, किसी में आप images के साथ कुछ कुछ कर सकते हैं. So I don't know the number of things that you can use. The most important one that I think all of us have used and continue to use is ChatGPT. Now, how can you make it more effective is by being very precise. So don't just say, अगर for example आपको मेल लिखना है मैनेजर से छुट्टी मांगने के लिए. So don't just say write mail asking leave. Be specific. Say write a professional email to a reporting manager asking for leave on account of bank work. I don't know. Aadhaar ka kaam hai. I don't know. The more precise and the more specific you are, the more ChatGPT is able to contextualize and personalize that for you. You will also notice that the more you use ChatGPT on a daily basis on your machines, the more it will start giving you more precise and finer answers. Now, I would certainly like all of you to try doing this. Ask ChatGPT to make a resume for each of you. For those of you who are looking for jobs, I think you know that we at Sarathi are in the space of converging industry and persons with disabilities to help you empower yourselves and therefore find jobs on our platform, which is on www.sarathi.com. Do visit it. See, one of the first things that anybody will ask you if you're looking for a job is, can you send me your CV or your resume? Now, मेरा भी resume है, ऋचा का भी resume है, बलराम आपका भी हो सकता है, रूपल का भी हो सकता है, राज का भी होगा, सचिन का भी, सबका होगा. How do you make it better? How do you make an effective resume? How do you make an effective CV? That is very important because I'll tell you also one more thing. Any prospective recruiter will take less than 1 minute to make a decision and a judgment about your CV and therefore about you. 1 minute bhi nahi lagega. He or she will look at it like this. Broadly, they will read some half a sentence here, half a sentence there, and they will have made a decision whether this person is suitable for my organization and for this role or not. Therefore, what does that mean? It means that जिस competency या experience आपका stronger है, you have to make that sentence more impactful. So one of the things I always tell a lot of young people is make your CV, write your points, but two things that you must do is figure out what you want to communicate and try this. If put it through ChatGPT and say, मैंने ये लिखा है. Can you please rephrase this in a more impactful manner? Write it and see. And then compare जो आपने लिखा है versus जो वो application लिख के आपको देता है, उसमें कितना अंतर है और कौन सा ज्यादा सही है. But इसमें दो तीन I will tell you a couple of challenges and things that you should protect yourself against. See, no generative AI or AI application knows everything. So you individually are the best suited to figure out how you want to position something. Number two, generative AI can also be fed a lot of nonsense. Therefore, what goes in is what will come out. So you don't want to be in a situation where, let's say, you have a headache. Please don't ask ChatGPT what you should take as a medicine, because that's crazy. It's dangerous. Absolutely. So those are some of the things that can ChatGPT create a video counselor? Yeah, बिल्कुल. ChatGPT video create कर सकता है, बहुत बढ़िया videos create कर सकता है. Be careful कि आप कैसा video create करवाते हैं. And somebody asked any best AI app for Excel work. बॉस एक्सेल में भी अगर आपको एआई चाहिए तो भाई साहब ये तो दिक्कत हो जाएगी. एक्सेल इज ग्रेट फॉर यू टू better your own skills and understanding data. And Rohan Albert is asking, in the coming days, can Gen AI invent something new, for example? Yes, so no, it may not independently be able to create a cure for cancer, but Gen AI is being used in a lot of drug research uh, by helping human beings and drug researchers understand different nuances of what that data could do, and therefore reducing the time for the drug to be created as compared to 10 years back. अगर 10 साल पहले कोविड वाला वैक्सीन अगर हम बनाने जाते तो शायद 5 साल लगते, बट इन दिस केस कोविड वाला वैक्सीन जो है वो 10 एक साल में बन गया था. So Gen AI will certainly continue to work very closely with human beings to bring down the timelines by helping us process the information in a faster manner. How can AI help a person with visual impairment? If trained adequately, AI can help a person with visual impairment by predicting uh, certain things based on the pattern that it learns from, and therefore suggesting better ways of going through a certain set of activities. Sudeep says, can AI replace coding? Well, it could at some point. It could, but it depends on, see, the more complex the activity that you want to code, the more the need for human emphasis, because we are able to give it some guardrails and some governance. Left alone, yeah, it could at some point in time, if not replace, it could start predicting, therefore reducing the time that it takes you to code something. So
we have literally come to the fag end of the entire webinar, and it has been extremely enriching, interesting. Guys, we'll just take last few questions if all of you have any. And before we start taking the last few questions, I also wanted to share that we are going to be starting a very interesting questionnaire. So following this webinar, all those who participated in it, please watch out the space which is on social media and otherwise. You will be receiving a set of questions which is based on whatever you have learned in this 1 hour. And based on the responses we receive, we are going to reach out back to you, and there is something very interesting that we plan to do with all the winners. So please watch out for this space. And last few questions, please go ahead, and then we'll wrap up the session. Anyone? Open forum, open questions, please go ahead. Okay, and any closing thoughts? How did you like the session? We would love to know, was the session useful? How do you think, did it manage to answer some of your questions, some of the thoughts that you had? Yes, Kausalya.
thank you.
Kausalya, you wanted to say something? Can you unmute yourself? Raj is very curious to know that how... Yes, Kausalya.
Okay. First of all, this is the first session which I have attended, the session which is conducted by Sarathi. And this is really useful because I am the person who is interested to learn about AI tools. And I was eagerly searching for the webinars and trainings. I did not find still. This is the first one I attended, and it's really good. I learned something new today.
Very nice.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I'll expect more informative and more elaborate sessions related to this.
Of course.
It may really useful
Thank you.
because nowadays AI is AI is everything. It becoming
No.
yeah.
Absolutely. Our
So
intention is to bring forth full-fledged sessions to you as we go forward. The idea of conducting this webinar is to understand whether it interests you at all or not. Is this something that is of any value to you?
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Thank you so much, Oshalya.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Great.
Okay.
Thank you all. It was quite delightful chatting with all of you, sharing. And like I said right at the beginning, nobody has all the answers. I think the whole concept of generative AI is when we come together and realize that we must use it for collective good. That's when technology is useful and optimized. So,
Thank you.
Richa, with your permission, I'll take leave. I've got a.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so very
much.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Bye-bye.